Hey, PlatformCon. My name's Chris Diaz. I'm excited to be here. I'm a principal platform engineer at RVO Health, and we're the largest health information platform in the US, helping millions of people achieve better health. Today, I want to share our 3 year journey revealing how platform engineering can work well, even without a traditional internal developer platform. In the summer of 2022, I found myself in an exciting position. Two major businesses merged to create RVO Health, a joint venture. And each business came with their own extensive portfolio of digital properties and acquisitions. We were essentially a startup, but with a twist. For the most part, we had full control over building our foundations, like our AWS organization, our GitHub orgs, and more. But the first year was intense. We had a ton of critical decoupling work that couldn't wait. Platform engineering was on our minds, but we had very little time for anything beyond keeping the lights on. Looking at our landscape, we face a unique challenge. We had 10 plus business units, 300 plus developers, and dozens of product teams, all with about 6 platform engineers. We needed to keep operations running smoothly to allow product teams to ship new features and innovate. But simultaneously, we were migrating countless processes into the new company structure. From day one, we recognized this environment would be both chaotic and complex, but a super fun challenge. Fortunately, we made one investment early on that's been super helpful in managing this complexity long term. And that investment was Backstage, specifically the software catalog. We knew we were entering a world where controlling chaos would be a big challenge for us, and we lacked clear visibility into who owned what. During a hackathon, we deployed a minimal version of Backstage, and from there, we really focused on identifying owners of our critical assets. Most importantly, for us, our GitHub repos and our cloud accounts. Once most of the integration work was winding down and we could finally catch our breath, we shifted our focus towards building a more cohesive engineering culture and a better developer experience. In early 2023, we established a dedicated developer experience team. Though small, just 3 people, including myself, we concentrated our efforts in a couple key areas. First, we focused on bringing our Backstage instance to production and driving that catalog adoption. We quickly realized that catalog data would help us build more meaningful features in Backstage. In parallel, we partnered with GetDX to gather meaningful insights from our development community. We needed to understand the pain points teams were experiencing and their perception of building, shipping, and maintaining software in our new environment. We had some experience with gathering feedback from developers in the past, but we weren't super happy with the results we had gotten and the response rates. They also took a lot of time to build and orchestrate. We turned to DX to partner, and they helped us deploy a quarterly snapshot. This is a survey backed by their research data that gets sent to developers 4 times a year. And we were able to reach and sustain about a 97% response rate on the surveys. And it gives us a ton of data and comments that we can digest and incorporate. It's so easy to procrastinate and push this work off, but the insights you gain will make your future work super meaningful and relevant. For example, we long assumed our build and deploy processes were not that great, and we weren't happy with them, but these ranked the least problematic areas in some of our survey data. We were actually in the 90th percentile relative to industry. In addition to DX, we wanted to go meet with teams face to face. We wanted to build relationships, but also gather data that would help us standardize on how each team was operating, specifically on how they were getting code to production and how they were managing cloud infrastructure. We also spent time analyzing quantitative data we had alongside customer interviews with key engineers in each business unit. While time consuming, talking with each engineering team gave us a ton of business specific context. And we shared this RVO Health State of Software Delivery report for everyone to see and gain insights into what other teams were doing. But ultimately, it helped us baseline on what everyone was doing and what their problems were. While some of the feedback work was in flight and we were waiting for catalog data to roll in, We really shifted into this mode of the art of the possible. We wanted to spend some time experimenting and potentially evolve the way teams ship software. In our early discussions, we frequently debated what our platform would look like. And our initial design drew inspiration from the AWS Cloud Development Kit with its level 1, level 2, and level 3 construct levels. We envisioned teams adopting our platform at various levels. For example, if a team was using GitHub and our AWS accounts, they would be using our platform fundamentals level, and they can move up or down depending on what they were trying to solve. The higher the abstraction level, the more comprehensive support we could provide as a platform team because there was fewer context specific details to navigate. But if someone needed to do an experiment, they can drop down and kind of switch between the three. We spent some time exploring Backstage software templates to build some of our first happy path, which is the highest level of abstraction. We envisioned providing an internal developer platform integrated with Backstage. And we recognize our platform would look somewhat different. We wanted to avoid excessive abstraction because teams really do own and operate their assets in our company. But we still wanted to make it easy for an engineer to take some building blocks and turn it into a working product without having to reinvent the wheel. For us, that looks like templating out a GitHub repo, templating out some infrastructure code with Terraform, providing a working CI/CD pipeline, and further investments. We envision maintaining these templates and allowing users to apply updates to them retroactively for day 2 operations. We developed some really cool templates. For example, we were able to deploy new REST APIs within about 10 minutes. We also built a template where you could bring your own Docker file and GitHub repo. While conducting these experiments around the art of the possible, we also turned to the CNCF platform engineering maturity model. We use this as a framework to evaluate all of our current efforts within the developer platforms team and adjacent platform teams supporting businesses. It helped us standardize how we evaluated our current state and, more importantly, determine where we wanted to go within the context of our unique org and business goals. The assessment proved super valuable and ultimately guided us towards an important conclusion about our path forward. We reached a realization that shifted our strategy and our thinking. It's not the right time for a single internal developer platform. Building a single one for our diverse portfolio companies simply didn't align with our current needs. Teams were primarily focused on adding features to existing applications rather than creating new ones. Developers were generally satisfied with their current build and deployment processes. Several business units had already established platform capabilities tailored to their specific needs. And creating a single unified platform would require substantial complexity and cost that wasn't justified by our use cases. It led us down a path to focus on what we could effectively control and influence for the whole org. For now, an end-to-end IDP wasn't the right solution for us or the business, but we still keep the door open. This insight guided us towards establishing a platform foundations team with a slightly different approach. We've redirected our centralized efforts to where we can have the most impact across the most teams. We've rebranded developer platforms to platform foundations, with our central platform engineering efforts focusing on those org-wide capabilities and tools. Some business units have dedicated platform support depending on their complexity and needs, while some development teams interact directly with the capabilities that we provide. Platform engineers and those engineers that are more power users come together and join a platform guild to share ideas. Also, developer experience remains integral to everything we deliver. It's no longer a team, but it's a mindset we incorporate into what we build through our platform engineering initiatives and product thinking. Our foundations team was already owning key processes like cloud account creation, access management, GitHub observability, and more. Before investing in new capabilities, we implemented a straightforward documentation site on Backstage using TechDocs, focusing on our internal development teams. Our general mindset was that we should be able to answer routine tasks with a documentation link. We wanted to provide a better experience, reduce repeating ourselves, and help reduce support interruptions over time, ultimately pushing us into a state of innovating. While we don't have a traditional one-click internal developer platform, our foundations team focuses on building robust core capabilities that all teams can leverage. We invest primarily in level one, or our platform fundamentals, and in some cases, we invest in level two, prescriptive workflows. For example, we have an opinionated Terraform pipeline that teams adopt. They don't have to, though. For now, we're not directly investing in healthy paths or golden paths, but we're keeping the door open if we find the time is right. While we don't have an internal developer platform, we do have an internal developer portal, Backstage. It's our central data plane for different functions in the organization. It allows us to control some of the chaos that inevitably occurs when teams operate with different tech stacks. We've found tremendous value in providing standardized views of critical data across our business units. Areas like ownership, security posture, cost management, and more. They benefit from consistent visibility regardless of the underlying technology choices. For example, our Backstage ownership data has directly driven significant security improvements and helped identify cost anomalies before they became major issues, both high priorities for our organization. While I could chat about the various ways Backstage helps our organization and that journey specifically, I want to highlight an area that we've built and call team pages. These are heavily inspired by Spotify's own Backstage implementation. Team pages use our software catalog to provide a clear view into a team's security vulnerabilities, cost data, and more. It's become our central hub for bringing standardization in a very unstandard environment. This approach provides the flexibility to each business unit while ensuring consistent governance and visibility across the organization. It's been remarkable watching Backstage transform into a rarely used tool into one where links are constantly shared in Slack conversations. These pages have become central to how teams understand and manage their platform assets. Our platform foundations team owns our Backstage instance, but we also have some great inner source contributions. Backstage is a big area we plan to invest in moving forward. While I can't easily summarize all of our learnings over the last 3 years, I will conclude with these parting words of wisdom. Know your environment. Platform engineering and complex organizations requires adapting to your specific context rather than forcing textbook solutions from blog posts. Start with visibility. Before building new capabilities, ensure you understand what exists and who owns it. Let data drive decisions. Implement feedback loops to validate assumptions and prioritize your work that delivers real impact. And lastly, focus on foundations. In a multi-business unit environment, you really need a strong foundation that everyone can build upon rather than a comprehensive one-size-fits-all solution. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you got something from this presentation, and I hope you have a great rest of your platform con.